Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. It feels great to connect and collaborate once again with my friend Jason Guido. Jason, how's it
Good
going,
morning,
man?
Mike. Good morning, Mike. How you doing? I'm doing okay.
Man,
I'm doing.
it's crazy what a year difference makes. Last year, Rangers were number one, President's Trophy.
Yep.
We go from number one to take an early vacation to Cancun. Unbelievable. We saw the inconsistency this year.
Right.
Even though it got a certain point into a season that after they trade away these guys that, that we're seeing some improvement, but this is just one of those seasons as us for Rangers fans that we like to call it an amnesia type season because of so much up and down. I mean, yes, it could be worse, and there have been teams that have so much worse ends to the season. But for a
Right.
team that has so much promise, especially the way they perform in the postseason the last 2 years and the kind of season they had last year, you expect much more from them. But again, we've seen disappointments. We've been here before, so we can't be surprised at this point. But
No.
before I logged in, Jason, I did not
Hmm.
know until now that all the teams of the original six NHL clubs, they all gonna miss the postseason. That is crazy. The
Yep. For the first
Bruins,
time,
the Red Wings, the Rangers.
Canadians.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not knew that until like minutes before logging in. So this is something completely different. I find this fascinating because we always learn and find out things as year by year when it comes to sports. That's crazy to me.
I mean, the whole Rangers season. I mean, I told you off the air because I could spend the whole day talking about the Rangers and this lost season. I mean, it started in the summer with the GM. They didn't really bring in any big time players. They just brought in Riley Smith. That wasn't enough. Um, The power play was horrendous all year. I mean, they were last year they were like fourth in the power play. This season they're like 27th or 8th or something crazy like that. Their defense overall, the whole team defense, not just the defenseman, the team defense between forechecking, back checking, um, coverage in the defensive zone is the worst I can remember in a long time. That's part of the reason they've given up so many goals this year. Um, the goaltending, Shazirkin has been inconsistent. He's been good, but he's been, not great in all the games. Um, they went out. They pretty much changed all the defensemen. They brought in Will Borgen. They brought in Calvin DeHaan. They brought in Susie. Zach Jones got more playing time. None of that really worked. It worked sometimes. They were inconsistent. You know, the season started off where they were okay. Then they went through a stretch where they couldn't win. That put them out of the playoffs. And then from January on, it was pretty much inconsistent play, which resulting in a non-playoff year. I mean, it looks like they quit. To be truthful, Mike, it looks like the players quit on the coach and the GM. That's what it looks like to me with this kind of play. A veteran team with this much talent won the President Trophy last year. Pretty much the same team as last year. Um, they look lost. They do. They look lost. They look like they're disinterested in playing. Um, they play one period and the next two periods they're horrendous. Just that kind of inconsistency the whole season so far. I mean, there's a couple of games left, but I mean, it's all over now anyway. So
We understand that winning is hard. Team chemistry is very important. And for some reason, look, we're not in the locker rooms. We don't know
right,
what goes down. It's always interesting when you find out years later through a documentary or when someone retires that everything starts to come out. That's why I don't believe when players they downplay to the media like, oh, that's wrong, that's false, whatever. But I'm like, okay, we're gonna find out later, years later, what went down, why they had the kind of season that they had after such a promising season, basically with the same roster. I just feel that psychologically, the team was not were not collectively together there on the ice. Psychologically, they were not there. And all those stats that you mentioned, that also was a contributing factor.
Oh, and there's
But
more.
but but
Yeah.
it's surprising. It's surprising to see them to go from here last year all the way to this position. But again, we've seen this in sports many times where a team could go number one seed one year and then they just pummel the following year. Not to the point where they just win 5 games. I'm exaggerating, but to the
Right,
point
right.
not making the playoffs. It happens.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I knew coming into this season, I was being realistic. I knew that they were going to break this team up if they didn't win the Stanley Cup. We didn't even get to that, obviously. And the team, just like, I mean, they have a lot of not great contracts. Plays went backwards. Kreider, Zanajeb, I don't know what they look like. They were lost sometimes. Um, the plays they brought up, I mean, they're okay. They're still young, like Hoffman and Ballard. But I don't know. I mean, this lays on the GM, and I'm gonna put on the GM and the coach. But I don't know if they're gonna get fired or not. They're saying some people say yes, some people say no. I mean, we still got a couple of games left. But the Rangers are an organization. They don't seem to like bring up talent that can score, that can compete in the NHL. What you need on a night in night out basis. I mean, so the scouting and play development that also has to be looked at because um they bring up plays and they don't look like they can score. Like they traded like Lafreniere. We actually did a video when he signed an extension and he was doing really well. And from that point on, he only has like 10 goals and 15 or 20 assists. It's not what a number one overall pick should be doing. They had Capo. They traded him away to Seattle. He went to Seattle and he's playing much better there. He was another one of their top prospects. So I don't mean, it just seems to me like they just can't get enough scoring out of their minor league system, the AHL team, to win on a consistent basis.
So to wrap this up, Jason, and this is no right or wrong answer. What do the Rangers need to do for them to move the needle forward? Or if you were the GM, what will you focus more on? Getting better on defense or find a big time score? You know, whichever route you want to go.
Yeah, I would love to be the GM. That's my whole thing. But okay, so the first thing I would do is, well, there's a lot of, remember, there's a salary cap. This isn't like the Mets and the Yankees and the Dodgers come out and get anybody you want either. So I looked at some of the NHL free agents. There's nobody really who's gonna wow me. Like you want John Tavares, he's 37 or 8 years old. You want to bring in another aging veteran? Probably not. But that's just one example. But I think the Rangers have to focus on what I would do. You ask right now if I inherited this team, I would have to try to trade away as many contracts as possible, and or if you put a player in the AHL, his salary comes off the pro salary cap. If you didn't know, I might look into that. I would also focus on bringing in more of a defensive team, more defensive players for the short term to fix these defensive problems, which has led to us being one of the worst defensive teams in hockey. I would focus on a more defensive team at first. Those type of players, bigger players who can defend in their own zone.